This is episode 7 of Painting and Photo Recipes that Give You the Art Advantage. And I'm the author, Roslynn Eve, of The Art Advantage. And this is the Mona Lisa. We're going to touch on it briefly. We brought up in the other tutorials about light, dark. We brought up details, areas of interest, containment, things like that. So, and we've touched on some other categories just briefly as well. Okay, so we're just gonna show you how important grayscale can be, and this is what we're focusing on here in this tutorial. And you can, if you don't have the ability to get to grayscale in your computer and you can't discard the color layers and go black and white, you can always print it out in your printer as black and white once you feel that you've got it how you want it and you think it's good, because then you'll notice things that you didn't notice before. As we discussed, color can become a main area of interest, and it's certainly a big contributing factor to art. So as soon as you go black and white, then you notice everything else. Because color is gone, it's not a distraction, it's not an influence. So notice that when we're looking over here to the right one where the color's gone, in the original Mona Lisa on the right, you can see that the two factors that are most dominant there aren't detail. You can see that it's dark to light, which there's the lightest area, and it's mostly medium to dark. And then you can see that the rule of thirds places the mouth closest to the third line, so you've got those two categories, and that's really it. Isn't that amazing? Now you can see in the altered version that we did there, you can see that detail is a big affecting factor. I mean, color is, as you can see, because we added color, but when color is gone, there's still detail to show you where to look and where the main area of interest is. And this bracelet, by the way, is somewhat close to being on the third line there, but it's past that middle window where we have the four cross points. Okay, so anyway, let's put that away because we don't need it. And now we're moving on to some of my older paintings and images. So hopefully I've improved since then, and that's why we're doing these tutorials, to show you how much I've improved. And you can see here that this one, when there's 40 categories that you can mix into a recipe to make it interesting, you can see that I've gone about as minimal as you can get in this image. Because as soon as you discard color, which is the bigger influencing factor here, the biggest category, what do you have left? You know, you don't have a huge range of light and dark, you don't have a lot of detail, you know, you don't have texture, which we haven't really brought up yet. There just really isn't much to this image. And in terms of light and dark, there's your darkest. It doesn't even go all the way to white, and it doesn't go all the way to dark, so that one's not utilizing it to its maximum either. So the thirds rule and color is really what it is. Without that, it's not really anything. So I hate to say it's really a very poor image. Okay, and here's the next one that we're using. So in terms of color, we've got enough that color is not an issue. That's got a nice range of color to it, and we do have some intenser color as well. And you can see when we discard color, what do we have left? Well, we can see that we have a little bit of texture here. We can see that we've got light to dark, but look at how tiny of a quantity or mass of extreme dark we have compared to all this. And we have the extreme white here, and here, and you've got lots of light neutrals or medium shades of color. Well, in this case, of gray tone. And so you can see that there isn't a whole lot of excitement once you remove the color. and that this is not really exciting image. So it's amazing, again, like, isn't that amazing that how much color has impacted this image? Okay, so let's get rid of that. And by the way, notice here that there is not a whole lot of areas of interest either. And you can see that the ones that are sort of in this shape here, so that's where you're tending to look. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. And you can see that this one has plenty of color again. So as soon as you discard the color, we're relying a lot on color. And you can see, but I do have my bases covered because I do have the extreme of white, but I don't have it all the way to dark. We can see that it's fairly dark, but it's not all the way to black. And the darkest point would be in here and just right in there. So there's really not enough to make a big impact there. And you can see that there is detail though. Look at all the detail. So we've got our 3 areas of interest as well, so we're not just stuck with one area of interest. So that's good. So those are the things that we have going for it. And again, we have some texture and stuff making it a little more exciting as well. Okay. So now these ones I think you'll find interesting because I've done 2 versions. This is Mama's Yummy Homemade Wine. Here, let me get the little hand there. So this is, like I said, we also have a Papa's Yummy Homemade Wine right in behind here we'll be getting to shortly. And with this one, we've got lots of color again, and it's a large affecting factor of where you want to look. And you can see that there's a lot of things to look at when you include color. But when you don't include color, now what do we have left? We still have stuff left. Look at that. We've got light to dark. Now it's quite light, and it's quite dark, not the full range, but we're really close there, so that's good. And you notice that we've got 3 main areas of interest, but we've also got detail and some here as well. So we've got 5. It's just so you can see these 3 are more dominant. And this is the main one. Why? Well, you guys know now. Come on. It's because it's on the 3rd line. This is the one that's closest to and mostly on the 3rd line. Okay, so now let's compare these to the other version. Now you can see I went more intense color, but darker. And you can see that it looks a lot more crisp and clear and everything. And look at the how crisp and everything the detail is, and all the extra color. See all the extra intensity of color here. But again, removing the color as a category, so I did well in the color area. When you look here, there really isn't a lot. So because it's darkened it down, it was kind of important that, hey, do you notice? This one has an extra light area. So now we're including that in the light mass area. So without it, the bottom one here doesn't have as much, and it's a little bit less interesting because of it. Also, it's opening up our viewing window, which we've talked about before, which is good because now we're covering a lot of area that we want to look at, and we still have the details that we had in the other image. As a reminder, this is my book, The Art Advantage, and I'm author Roslynn Eve. And you can find it on Amazon.com or Amazon.ca. And I put a link in the little description just below where you clicked on my video. So if there is a link there to Amazon if you would like to buy a copy. And of course, if you would like to subscribe, that would be great, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. Bye for now.